Hey y'all, it's Sheila. Thank you for stopping by and spending a few minutes of your day with me. This is just a story. Just a story. Back in my days of healthcare, we acquired a building in the North Carolina mountains. It was about an hour and a half from my house, and it was a very peaceful drive to that building. And once you arrived there, it was such a peaceful, calm setting, and I love that building. I love the staff. I love the administrator. I just loved going to that building. And after we would acquire a building, I would spend about a month every day up there. So every day I got up and drove to that area of North Carolina. Enjoyed my drive, enjoyed being up there, and I really missed that building. After we had had it several days, I went in the administrator's office and I said, I'm going to walk around and talk to some of the residents. And she said, oh, okay. Just don't go in room so-and-so. I said, why not? She said, that is one grumpy little woman. She probably won't even let you in. So I'm going up and down the hall talking to the residents, and I got to room so-and-so, and I went knock, knock, knock. And this big booming voice said, go away. And I thought, went out to a few more rooms, but I'm kind of hard-headed that way. And honestly, the grumpiest residents we had always ended up having a very special spot in my heart. So I thought, I'm going back to that room, and I got my spiel together. I went knock, knock, knock. Hey, Miss So-and-so, this is Sheila. I just want to talk to you, see what you like about living here and any improvements you think we should make. As fast as I could. And there was no response. And I thought, well, maybe she's napping. And as I got ready to walk off, this big booming voice said, well, are you coming in or not? So I opened the door and went in, and there I saw where the big booming voice was coming from. She was a little person, and she was sitting in a modified, smaller rocking chair. And she was rocking, and she said, don't just stand there towering over me, sit down. So I just dropped down to my knees, a couple feet in front of her. And, what do you like about living here? Are there any improvements you think we could make, etc.? And she got up, walked over to me, and kicked me in the knee. I said, oh, why did you do that? She said, that's what I do to people that are bothering me. She sat back down and she said, I'll tell you what I like about living here. The food is really good. I said, yeah, I've eaten some of the meals. They are delicious. She said, it's home-cooked food. I said, yeah, really good cooks in the kitchen. She said, and the staff is really good. They're here when you need them. But when you don't want to be bothered, they leave you alone. And you can go now. So I thanked her for her time. And as I got to the door, she said, do you know who I am? And I walked back over and stood in front of her, and I said, no, ma'am, I don't. I'm sorry, I don't. She said, well, sit down again. She said, I'm a movie star. Now, y'all, I've been told some strange things by patients. I had one Alzheimer's patient that believed she was married to William Shatner. She talked about William Shatner all the time, and her daughter was married to Barry Manilow. So it wasn't unusual for me to hear something like this. I said, oh, really? Might you have been in any movies I might have seen? And she stood up and she put her hands on her hips. She said, unless you've been living under a rock all your life, I've only been in one movie. I said, oh, really? What was that? The Wizard of Oz. I was part of the Lollipop Guild. I was one of the munchkins on the Wizard of Oz. And that just, my eyes got big and my mouth flew open, because that has always been one of my favorite movies, still to this day. And I told her that. She said, you wouldn't think it was so great if you'd been part of the cast. I said, oh, really? She said, us little people, we were paid $50 a week. Toto the dog was paid $125. I said, oh, that's not right. That's not right. She said, well, I'm done now. You can leave. And I went to the office and I says, Miss So-and-so been in the Wizard of Oz. Was she one of the little people in the Wizard of Oz? Administrator said, we've done all the research we can, and they didn't keep good records on the little people that were in that movie. However, in that area of North Carolina, there was a theme park called the Wizard of Oz, and they would have her come over there. Now, was Miss So-and-so in the Wizard of Oz, or did she just appear at the Wizard of Oz in North Carolina? I don't know. The next day, the state was there to do their inspection for change of ownership, and this little Miss So-and-so, a little grumpy woman, came to the dining room, reached the back of the chair like this, and pulled up on her stomach, flipped over, and then went. And a staff member came and pushed her up. Well, the lady from the state said, Sheila, you've got to get her a stool. That's a dignity issue. I'd already said the same thing to the administrator. So I said to her what the administrator said to me. I said, you see that stool right over there up against the wall? That's for if she wants it. And if she doesn't want it, she will kick it across the room. If she wants it, she will let you know. Well, that night at supper, the dinner, evening meal, the state team was still there, and that same member of the state was still very concerned about the dignity issue of how little Miss Grumpy got up into her chair. And she went over and offered to help her, and little Miss Grumpy kicked her in the leg. Yeah. Like she did me in the knee. If staff was getting on her nerves, she would kick them. She was sweet as candy to all the other residents. But if staff was being too insistent upon helping her, she would kick them in the leg. And let me tell you, that little woman could throw a kick. I had bruises. We became quite close because I was rather persistent. And I would go and knock on her door, and she would say, well, are you coming in or not? And I would say, Miss Grumpy, how do you know it's me? She said, from my bedroom window, I can see you pulling in that car. And I know within not long of being here, you're going to come down here and you're going to talk to me. I said, that's right. I said, well, today I'm coming to tell you. She said, I already know, y'all still in the building. I said, yes, ma'am. And I'm sitting on the floor on my knees in front of her, and she got up and she went like this. And I said, honey, I'm going to miss you. And I got her on the shoulders and I said, Grumpy, I'm going to miss you too. I am really going to miss you. She said, well, I know that you only live an hour and a half from here, and I fully expect to see you about once a month. I said, you're right. And you can take that to the bank. And I visited her many times. But that day, as I got up to leave, she slipped something in my hand. It was about this big. This isn't it. It was a little enamel bowl. I said, oh, Miss Grumpy, I can't take your little bowl. She said, it's just a bowl. I said, I have rules. We cannot take gifts from the residents. We cannot. The staff can, and I can't either. She said, you're taking the bowl. And she kicked me. She kicked me in the leg. I took the bowl. And when I started moving things around in this room, I found the bowl. It was here on this shelf. And now this cedar chest that I'm sitting on that has things that were my son's, things that were mine, some things of my mom's, and a bowl. I like the little grumpy people. I do. I don't know if she was in the Wizard of Oz or just appeared at the Wizard of Oz at Beach Mountain, North Carolina. The records weren't that great. But I know I will cherish that little bowl forever in my conversations with Miss Grumpy. Y'all have a great day. Make it a great day. I'm wearing all bronze makeup today. I'm getting my bronze summer look on. Probably doesn't look much different than any other day, but if you want to know what I'm wearing, just ask me below. And maybe I'll do a video on it. Y'all make it a great day. Have a great day. I'll see you later. Bye now.